Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is a new moon on the day of this recording in Leo. This is a different feeling new moon. Of course, we're in the height of summertime. We are going to talk about the next tarot card today, which is the Hanged Man. An interesting energy to play with on the new moon, so we can make kind of a little ceremony out of it today. And I do want to tie it into our love conversation, because I feel like that's an ongoing conversation that really wants to be talked about some more. So we can get right into it. First of all, I'm Stasia Bliss. If you've never been here before, welcome to the channel. It's an honor to have you here. This channel is called Kundalini Embodiment, which is really about this life force energy, this awakened life force energy, and how do we live with it? How do we live differently than before we were aware, before we were awake to this energy, this consciousness, this perception of reality, right? What are some of the symptoms that you maybe are experiencing? And also then not just about awakening this energy, but living it, embodying it. And part of how we're doing that right now is we're going through the tarot, the archetypes of the tarot. Whatever you know of the tarot, try to put it aside. It's really just like a group of archetypes that maps out a hero's journey that we're all taking. The tarot is an ancient divination form, and it's really just archetypal images. So we're going through the archetypal images, and we're talking about how they show up for us in an awakening journey. We are to card 12, the Hanged Man, today. So we just spoke about the Justice card last time. If you've missed any of those episodes, you can go to my divination playlist. I'm feeling raindrops. There's a few clouds. They don't really look stormy, so we'll see if I get rained on. But the Hanged Man is all about, now we've got this divine justice. We've like experienced some, profound shaking. Sometimes Justice card is the law, or like the divine justice. Like I said, something is being righted or leveled or brought to your attention. Okay, so now we get to the Hanged Man, and you have like this new perspective being shown you, and you're actually asked with this archetype to take a different perspective. So I teach yoga, and if you've ever done yoga or taught yoga, there's a wide-legged forward fold pose that's lovely. That's great to open up the inner thighs and the pelvis and everything. And I'm sorry, whenever I start recording a video, this spider bite area, which those of you have heard me talk about, where I got bit by a spider, it acts like some kind of a communication signal or something. Like when I'm tuning into the web, it seems like a lot of us get these sorts of things as we're awakening. We get some weird body thing, and this is mine. My spider bite area gets super itchy and sensitive. I really try not to itch it, but sometimes I just can't help myself. When something's being activated, for me it's like, it is spider medicine, it is the web. So this information going into the web, into the collective. So I'm speaking about wide leg forward fold. So I like to encourage my students, and I like to hang out in that pose for a while. And imagine I have to stay in it all day. And you can try it right now, wide leg forward fold. I would do it for you on camera, but I have like teeny shorts on, and it would all just be like totally my ass in your face. So we'll just skip that one right now. I'm so sorry. What are you trying to say, spider? So, interestingly, so spider medicine's talking, so I'm going to just give this message. If you're like a spider on a web and you're in a room, you have an interesting vantage point to everything that's going on, right? And also you have sensors. That's like a different way of perceiving, more than just like, oh, I see something's on my web. It's more like I feel the vibration, and here comes the wind, I feel the vibration of something entering my realm, entering this space. And another meaning of the Hanged Man is a pause or a waiting. So it's a different perspective. He's hanging upside down, but he's also like waiting. He's like on a tree. Can't really go anywhere. It's sort of a still point. And it's almost like the message of the card is you're waiting for that message, for the vibration, right? You're in a stillness. You know, justice just occurred on some level and you're like, now what? There's a pause. If you get this card, its message can be, or if you're experiencing Hanged Man in your life, it's like you're in between and nothing's quite happening. It doesn't seem like it's happening. But again, like at that phase of the journey, you have cast a net. You have, way back at the Magician, made a manifestation intention. You have, with the Chariot, gone out and started to follow that journey into the world, right? And you've had deep contemplation time. You have like turned a cycle in your life with the Wheel of Fortune, and something new is developing. Okay, there's something, and it's kind of like under the skin. That's the other thing I'm getting with my skin. It's like under the skin. And so it's the pause, the wait is like in preparation for, and actually the next card 13, is the Death card. And of course, that's not the end of the major arcana. So there is like a death before the end of the journey. It's a transformation. So just preceding that death moment is a new perspective, is a pause, is a wait. In the runes, this would be like Isa, the eye, which is frozen, stillness, pausing. And assessing things from different vantage points, right? And of course, if this card's coming up reversed, if you're in a reading, this card would be like, maybe you've been stopped too long and maybe it's time to go forward, or like something has been revealed, now move on it, right? But in this position, there's still this wait, there's still this vigilance, let's sense things in a different way. Let's use our spidey senses. Let's get a different vantage point perspective on what's going on. And of course, like his head is illuminated. This different perspective is giving him great insight. Of course, it's a 12. So it's the 1 and the 2 are a 3. So there's also something very powerful and opening of a new reality with the 3. The Hanged Man is also it can warn you to not make a move, to stop. It can be like straight up like, whoa, don't go anywhere yet. And in a way, that's you're ripe right now for the transformation. If you go forward, you haven't gone through the big change yet that's pending with the Death card. You gotta hold on, because all that you've been doing up to this point, this whole journey, is percolating. So 12 is another completion number, similar to a 10 in a different system, right? And 13 is like the goddess number. Death card is She of the Bones. We'll get into that more next time, but we're just preceding that. We've got a different vantage point. I'm thinking of my dad in the hospital. Those of you know, my father's been in the hospital for over 3 weeks now, kidney failure, and trying to get him back up and going, but it's, right as I'm saying that, my mom messages. So he's in a still pause. He's in a suspension, a life suspension. This can happen with an illness. It can happen with, you know, something where you have to be bedridden, or where you're called out of your job. Like, that's the justice moment. You can't see it yet. That's divine justice. And now you're home and you just don't have anything to do. You don't know what the next work is. Maybe the justice was a divorce or a separation, and now you're not quite to where you're going yet. Maybe it's an illness. You're in the hospital or something, or homebound, and you get a new vantage point. You're just laying in bed. Preceding a death moment. We spoke about this in the death video. It doesn't have to be a physical death. It might be. There's a suspension before that happens usually, even if it's short. Everything stops. But also a transformation, a dying without dying, right? I have a video called that. You can go and watch that as well. But so here now we have this new moon today, the day I'm recording it. And whenever you're watching it, it's perfect timing. You're getting this Leo new moon vibe with the video. But it is a pause. It is a suspension moment. We actually had a big one of these at Mayan calendar day at a time on the 25th of July. But here we are in like a stopping point. It's a dark moon. So it's coupled with that death energy, right? And it's preparing for what is in this new cycle, what is to come. What comes from this new perspective? What comes from the time you take to pause? So I would recommend you pause today, make some kind of a new moon altar or ceremony of sorts, play music, like feel into, first of all, what things showed up for you in your life in between and during those two Capricorn full moons we just had, from the summer solstice to that full moon 2 weeks ago. And that is giving you an idea of some of the new stuff that's been seeded and planted or completed, right? There could be something that was pending completion that really showed itself during that time, the hidden need to come to terms with, or something that has been pending to came up during that time. And now we're starting to see that seeds have been planted, and there's a wait. There's a wait. The dark moon is like the sprouts still not popped up. I think Leo King uses that same analogy, speaking of this time too. But like, things have been planted, things have been seeded. That sprout is even starting to grow down there, but you can't see it. There's a waiting moment. And even like, it's like his head is underground and it's glowing. He's cocooned right now. It's like pre-butterfly moment. I mean, forward folds are a really good idea today. That wide leg forward fold, get a new perspective, do a headstand, hang upside down, get your crown to the earth. Yeah, just get out under the new moon, or go within yourself during this new moon. It's very like internal transformation process in here. And be receptive to what the intuitive self in this suspended state is giving you, is telling you. Intuition can be really spot on right now. Okay, guys, thank you so much for stopping in and taking time. Just to quickly like tie this into your awakening process before I close the video out, because I didn't specifically say this, but when life force rushes up the spine and begins to activate the subtle centers, there are many times when it feels like nothing's happening. Following that, following some inner conjunction moments, some like really big aha moments, some super vibrant, you know, like activated moments. Then there's some lulls, some stopping points, some integration points. Hanged Man is also an integration point. Again, because it's with the Death card. The Death card's next. That's like some big changes that occur. Like when you integrate something, you're not the same after that. You're embodying differently. So this is a Shavasana, this is a integration moment. after all this activity that led to this card, right, in the hero's journey, everything that's led up to that point, you know, that initial awakening, that activation, this inner conjunction, this purification process, this hermiting, this, you know, expressing into the world, attuning to the divine intuition, going on this new journey of consciousness, and, you know, like meeting, like squaring up with things in your life, right? You like have these waiting moments that are still points, and they're necessary. They're necessary in the journey. And I mentioned in yesterday's video the 12 ventricles of the brain, how when you're in surrender or meditation, they fold, they bow to the pineal gland. 12. The pineal gland is the 13th. And interestingly enough, that's the death card, which is ultimate transformation. So we're prepping for Pluto to go back into Capricorn for a couple of months. This last little bout there, coming up at the beginning of September. This is a big collective death or downfall. Of course, we're going to see some more transformation in the structures of this world with that, because things have got to evolve with Aquarius. Aquarius is going to take us beyond the previous norms, right? It's funny, I'm going to pull out to a cosmic perspective here before closing this video, and if this goes a little too deep, you can just stop it now if you don't want to go like alien spacecraft with me. But this card mirrored with the astrology and the collective right now, it's like this pause before humanity really goes like galactic membership, which Pluto and Aquarius is going to really connect us to. And it's going to activate a lot of the starseed, you know, remembrances and awarenesses of where many of us really came from, who we truly are, what we're doing here on Earth, but we're not quite in that moment yet, collectively. So in a collective awakening too, we're kind of like we're still in like divine justice mode, or seeking to bring divine justice, which is just before this, and why there's some different, you know, warring and like trying to fight for certain perspectives or pieces of land. This is like a sort of justice move. Before we can go on to like a big transformation that Pluto and Aquarius will have for us, like even more than some of you might realize. Okay, I guess that's as far as I'm going to go this time. Maybe we'll drop deeper another time. And I wanted to tie in love to this talk. So before we end, let's talk about the Hanged Man in love. You know, love goes through its own transformation journey, and sometimes there is a still point, a still pause, a waiting period, either in the relationship or between relationships. That is the time for patience. There is divine timing, you know, and it's kind of everything. So if it's not happening, then the Hanged Man sort of mind space is the best place you can get into, where there's just a still point, there's just a waiting period, there's an honoring of that frequency of stillness, of getting a new perspective. That can be like even just taking some personal time or personal space and reflecting and integrating and reassessing how one wants to move forward in relationship. And it's actually very healthy and can lead to some of the biggest leaps forward. You know, if in difficult times or strange times in relationship, each person would take some time to themselves, do some inner work, do some shadow work, do some integration, love the self, find the thing that's going on with the other person that, you know, is going on with you, it's within you, and integrate that piece. and then the transformation can really occur. But thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for being here. I hope that you will subscribe so you can get notifications for all the videos and follow the rest of the tarot journey with me. And if you personally would like a reading for this new moon, or anytime that you personally would like one, I am available to do that by donation. So I have an email and a website below. You can check it out or email me directly. And yeah, I'd like to get to know you and support you in your journey. If you want to work, longer than that, I usually like to do readings first just to get to know you. So I hope to see you in my inbox, and I will talk to you next time. I love you, and namaste.